Greetings, fellow citizens. This is fake Mayor Mike Duggan with an important public service announcement. There is absolutely no doubt about it. The No BS News Hour is 100% on point and accurate, which is why I, fake Mike, implore you to completely ignore it. I mean, seriously, people, why waste an hour of your precious week listening to hard-hitting facts that expose the real truth when you could be attending any one of my 67 weekly press conferences and ribbon cuttings? So remember, if you want the straight bullshit, come see me. And if you want no bullshit, you can listen and watch that other guy on the No BS News Hour. Which is why I'm here to remind you, avoid, ignore, simply do whatever it takes to stay just the way I like you, bamboozled.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's No BS News Hour with my main man, LeDuff.
No bullshit.
Yep. I went down to the auto show last week. My friend the garbage man warned me beforehand. Not much action this year. On the riverfront, where the auto show was being held, the garbage cans were nearly empty. That meant people were doing other things. Sounded like some news fit to print, so I scored a free ticket to the show. It wasn't hard. The car companies couldn't give them away. The show's borders ran from the Renaissance Center, ostensibly the world headquarters of General Motors, down to Huntington Place. I didn't know what Huntington Place was or where it was located. Turns out Huntington Place used to be called TCF Center. And before that, it was called Cobo Hall. The only thing that's changed its name more times than the Cobo Hall was Zsa Zsa Gabor. The big three were in attendance, but it didn't feel like their hearts were much in it. Jeep and Ford gave chauffeured rides up a metal ramp at a 45-degree angle and not a whole lot more. No trapeze artists hanging from the ceilings this year. No models, no elaborate sets covering the drab convention walls. There was a board guide showing the new electric Chevy SUV made in Mexico. It cost $45,000 before tax, before dealer fees, and before cup holders. Good luck selling that in Detroit with the Dow in free fall. There were puppies in a free-range pen. I like the puppies, and I like the soft pretzels, and the gigantic rubber duck outside near the monster truck. I like those stews. I got nostalgic. It all reminded me of the Livonia Spree. But it all felt de mode. Small tents, porta potties, and homeless people rifling for treasure through the garbage cans. The grandeur of yesteryear was gone. I ran into an old high school friend in the basement of the Rensen. There were cars on a carousel down there. They were free to look at these cars, but there was no one to look at them but me and my friends and a bored custodian piddling with her pen. This is scary, my friend said to me. What's the future for us around here? I don't know. Feels like we're walking around in pajamas. And he was right. I remember the auto show back in January 2009, the last time the Dow was collapsing and the executives from the big three drove to Washington with tin cups in hand. And at least the Germans showed up to Detroit back then. They brought their cars and sent their reporters who sneered through their steaming cigarette plumes. Detroit is over, said one Weisenheimer. And I told him not to bet against us. I reminded him the Roman Empire had also fallen, but there were still Italians walking around in nice shoes and sipping good coffee. But this year I wondered, where was Rolls-Royce and all the other high-end stuff that used to make Detroit the place to be? Was it COVID ennui? Was it because the high-end car companies don't see the percentages and are moving toward new methods of marketing? Have our homegrown companies decided that we don't warrant more than a soft pretzel? I think switching to warm weather was a good idea. I'll never forget the image of the shivering Germans with nicotine steam billowing from their upturned noses. We just have to try harder. Remind everybody that we are still the world's motor city, and we are. How about maybe moving the auto show to June to coincide with the Grand Prix? And while we're at it, move the Dream Cruise to June as well. And maybe top it off with the Autorama and the fireworks. You know, like host one gigantic orgy of Automania. Maybe we should put the Thanksgiving parade in there too. There wouldn't be much to compete with it. It'll be early summer, and the only other game in town, the Detroit Tigers, should be long out of contention by then. And now a word from our sponsors. 2 with everything. A side of cheese fries to go. Ready, set, go, Red, go.
Detroit might not make it to the championships, but you can have a little bit of Detroit at your next championship party. American Coney Island, 12 dogs with all the fixings. Air mail special, right to your door. That includes Alaska and Hawaii. AmericanConeyIsland.com. The first, the best, and better than all the rest. And they can't fly either.
Yeah, baby, I'm going to Vegas. They got a Coney store there too. Yeah!
So, Charlie, when that becomes the next thing next year, like your interview with Tudor Dixon was taken and turned into a commercial, your idea is going to grow legs.
It probably will, but then we'll find an excuse not to do it. Like, I'll just take an easy one. Like, we don't have fucking police.
Yeah, but it's gonna make sense though, Charlie. But a lot of that centers on what I wrote about this week in the Detroit News, and that's there are no people here. Our population is not what it was. It's not what it is promoted to be. It's not what it was promised to become.
Hold it there. We'll get to that because that is correct. That's your column this week in the Detroit News because it was a good one.
Well, thank you.
Before we get into that tight bit of news, because that's the real important stuff. Remember, Red's doing his Netflix tryout show. His old lady kicked him out.
Oh.
He had to wheel his shit in a shopping cart. He's living in the Flop House Hotel, the Normandy. No disrespect. It's a home for a lot of people, and so you got to hang out for it. It's really fucking good. Here's just a little taste of what's coming later in the program.
I didn't know he had the gun on him, so I grabbed his hand, but I grabbed the gun. So I said, well, you can't eject.
Okay.
I said, somebody gonna hurt you one day, man. I'm not in that mode. I'm not trying to be violent.
Right? That's Mike who lives at the Normandy. Red has become the mayor of
The mayor
of
Normandy.
of Mid Woodward. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Okay.
Who knows? Maybe the dude is gonna go to there's a kabillion churches around there. Maybe Red's gonna be like,
Reverend Red.
Reverend Red and head alto. Could you imagine Red in the robes?
No.
Singing in the choir.
You know what? Let's think about that.
Exactly.
That sounds good.
Because
I like
that's
that.
what we're trying to do.
Yep.
Because this ain't no boring show. And by the way, did I just say it? I'm in those Tudor Dixon commercials again. Did I just say that?
No, you didn't.
Because I'm getting old and I can't remember.
No, you
I'm
didn't.
fucking back in those commercials. The Democratic Governors Association of Michigan. I told them to take me to fuck out of their dark money commercials. Stop using our show. That's $10, $12 million they spent. Okay. I don't know. That Tudor Dixon, you think, there I am. Look at me. Look at that with that nice haircut. You think that a 14-year-old who is a victim of abuse by an uncle should have to carry the baby and then show up at the family reunion and face the guy, and she says no exceptions.
Yep.
Forgive me for asking the regular people question, but I didn't give any dark money super PAC permission to use our shit. I won't give it to any political party, and we haven't accepted a fucking dime of this $10 to $12 million.
They stole it, Charlie.
Yeah, everybody around here, all the other fuck media, is making the money. And they don't know how we live, who we are, what we want, and they're game to let these people play us. And the only, what is that ringing?
The phone.
Why is the phone ringing? Are people calling in?
Well, you
one
gave them
was.
the number.
Don't fucking, yeah, I didn't, but don't, I'll tell you, okay, put them on.
They want to talk to you.
I want to see what this
He's
is
already
all about.
gone. He's already gone. He's
Oh,
already
they're gone?
He's
Don't
already gone.
call up in the phone.
I know.
You offended him, Charlie. I mean, the guy.
No, Mark hung up on him. Why you?
I don't think Mark hung up on him.
As I tell my wife, Karen,
Maybe.
look, loyalty above all. Don't.
I am loyal. I'm just
Even
being
if
honest,
I'm wrong,
Charlie.
be
Hey, Hey,
even if I'm wrong.
But it takes a lot of nerve for people to call. I mean, it does. People are nervous. They want to talk. They want to be a part of the show. And then they hear you say, "Why are you calling?" It's like, oh, maybe it's the wrong time. So they hung up.
No.
That's how I feel being on
I'm sorry,
the show.
brother or sister or whoever it might have been. I was asking Mark, how come we haven't figured out? Why do I got to hear the thing ringing?
Oh,
It's ringing again. All right.
Because you don't have headphones on. You want me to pick it up?
You're not on the list.
That's what happens in the penthouse.
It's not on the rundown.
Is somebody on there?
Yes.
Hello, what's your beef?
Oh, great. And they have
They're having a fight in the background. You hear
That's
that?
Karen. That's Karen. They're listening
Charlie.
to. Oh, whoa.
That's
Oh.
not me.
Charlie.
Yes. Hey, turn your
you hear
radio
me?
down. I mean,
Oh, this
I
is
gotta
why.
tell people this. Turn the simulcast down. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Do you?
You're on everywhere.
Jesus.
Hey, it's Mr. Positive.
Of course it is. Dude, I'm driving in here listening to a WJR. You're on there. Get a job, bro.
Get a show.
I mean, what do you... Yeah, get a show.
Get a podcast.
So we can call it.
He goes, why do I need to do all that when I can just bum in on everybody else's show?
Yeah,
You should get some commercials,
Hey,
bro.
but I
Wear
just-
T-shirts.
Oh, it's a commercial?
Come on. Be positive.
Yes, sir. Hey, I just want to ask you about Dixon. I'm glad you're bringing her up. She wants to deny, and I don't know if you want to talk about this.
Your show
but
killing.
China
Come on,
wants
get
to
to
bring
come on.
jobs to Michigan, and she wants to stop them from bringing jobs to Michigan so the Chinese companies can hire Michigan employees.
Oh,
and
listen
she
to
doesn't
you.
want that to happen.
Oh, listen to you.
She
And
thinks
so
that-
why shouldn't she let that happen,
Yeah.
Mr. Positive? Why so negative?
Well,
Huh?
well, I think she should let it happen.
Why should she
I
let it
want her.
happen?
She
What
doesn't
do you
want it.
what do you
She
know
wants to
about
deny
this?
it.
Well, what do you know about this? Why is it? First of all, Mr. Positive, how much money is the state of Michigan going to give said Chinese company? How much? Do you know? No.
No, help me out.
Okay, well, no, nobody knows, Mr. Positive. That's one of the problems with this fucking government. They're all signing non-disclosure agreements with the Chinese. Remember, we created the Chinese, and they took all our factories and our technology, and now we're paying them
Right.
for the dignity of having a job. So we don't know, Mr. Positive. Is it 100 million, 200 million, 300 million? How long do these jobs last, Mr. Positive? What if the Chinese don't do what they said? Is there a clawback mechanism, Mr. Positive? Mr. Positive, finally, where did this pool of money come from since we're flat ass broke? That pool of money, Mr. Positive, is the COVID money, the fake COVID money, the printed COVID money, the inflationary COVID money that the President of the United States sent to municipalities, the state of Michigan, and other, governmental bodies. So maybe we should pause on corporate welfare. Maybe we should all not just call into radio shows and podcasts and start casting aspersions and get to the point where we're going to talk about what we want, what's good for us, what's good for the currency, and what are the true details of these deals, bro.
Oh, Charlie, no one could say it any better. You were spot on. Wow.
Did I just-
Education at its best, you guys. Love you guys. Keep
Fight
up the
the
great
power.
work.
Mr. Positive.
And on a positive note.
Mr. Positive.
Yes, he did. Because he could have been offended and been.
No, he's
Oh,
cool.
my-
He's
Yeah, I mean, he was like, "You're right. You're telling everybody something. Something he didn't know. A lot of people didn't know, and you're right. You got to give thought to it. What are we talking about?
Because if Mr. Positive's drops on all the radio stations are, as I see it, he's a smart guy.
Right. He
But
is.
he's just playing us with details.
But that's what you can do every place else. Call, drop something, start an emotional reaction, and go on. And again, we talk about it all the time. Distractions. It takes away from the core of what we should be talking about.
Look at the mess we're in. And, this leads right into what we want to talk about, what you were talking about. But also on the program is Sean Red Novak. Basically, what would you call Sean?
Oh,
The
boy.
ambassador.
Yeah, Mr. DCFC.
The Mr. DCFC, the Detroit City Football Club. The football meaning, soccer. We got some video up here. It's madness, right? They play at
Hey, is this where you talked about want me to go?
Yeah,
Oh,
hell
you
yeah.
have. You
Oh,
have.
It's a nice
Hell
crowd,
no.
Karen. What do you got against
What?
against tattoos?
Wait a minute.
Flares.
Wait a minute. We got to the Kid Rock concert. This? No. Thank you.
You don't have to sit with the northern guard. You can sit on the other side.
Shit. Woo! I mean, first of all, they're winners. They're self-funded, right? They play out of Hamtramck. They don't cost us a dime as far as I know. I mean, maybe a dime here and there, you know what I mean?
Right.
But they're not asking to be kept alive by we the people. It's the greatest scene.
I'll make a donation to the football
She's always
club.
making donations.
I will do
but
that.
Never doing.
To get
I'm
out
not
of doing
going anywhere.
things.
Yeah,
Sean,
that's it.
If Karen showed up with
I like that move.
me and Amy, Karen and Tim, her husband, and she showed up in a Dietrich fur, would she be treated with respect in this crowd? Roll out the red freaking carpet. Raccoon, chinchilla, mink, it doesn't matter, Karen.
Oh, gee, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll make a donation.
So they just moved up the next level this year. They're one
That's
level
good.
below Major League Soccer.
That's
so
good. No,
and
I'm kidding.
they're
But
in the
I mean,
playoffs.
that's a good community-based activity organization. I'm kidding, but I applaud the effort.
There's no better recent success story in this city than how they have built themselves and how quick into a success and becoming a professional team from an amateur team than Detroit City.
And
That's great.
it's wild as fuck.
It's a blast.
Awesome. Like I've lived in L.A., New York. You can't find this shit in El Paso, not Kansas City, not Chicago. That
Columbus,
scene
none of 'em.
is like the scene. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been to one yet, but I know all about
Well, you
it.
go first. And
I'm
then,
going.
Okay, and then you let me know how that turns out.
Yeah, I used to live near the stadium.
I understand. I'm just saying that's not quite my vibe. You go and have a good time, Charlie.
Sometimes we gotta take you out the comfort zone, Karen.
I am.
All right, now, look. You basically wrote that the Detroit comeback it's a falsity. It was a narrative, and it's a hard, cold look. And in my opinion, and yes, you're really becoming, and I don't use the word lightly, a journalist and a commentator, because I feel that in this day and age, if you don't understand budgeting and finance and economics, and you're in the media world, if you don't have a rudimentary foundation in that, you're nothing more than an ambulance chaser or a gossip columnist. And I really think you struck it. And when you look at where we're at, where they say we've been nakedly, what do you see in the city of Detroit, Michigan, USA?
I see a very fragile facade of a change in perception about what's taking place. Yeah, we have some new places, but we've also got a lot of places that have closed. We've got not a lot of new developments, and developers, as you've talked about often, make their money on the front end. So their success is not measured by the occupancy of that development. I indicated I drive past 2 multi-family developments that are residential with commercial on the first floor, and they're relatively empty. I mean, if they
Over
have
there in Kercheval?
yes, there are 2 of them, and I see it around.
Where the Secretary
all the
of HUD came by, like
every day.
last
I mean,
fall?
it's and there was another one yesterday. It's been a long development. It's called Queen Lillian. It's a development. They were 2 black developers initially, and now they're in partnership with the platform. So there's
what does that mean? You mean white people?
It's what's the guy's name? I can't think of his name, but he's a big developer.
Bradley Stone?
No, not Bradley Stone. But what I'm saying, never mind, Charlie. Let's stick to the point. Like, as you tell me, don't go down
Mike
the rabbit
Hunt?
hole. No, not Mike Hunt.
Hugh G. Erection?
No, Charlie.
Seymour Butts?
No.
John Cocken?
Charlie, what are you drinking?
Did you already use Mike Hunt?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't listening.
So anyway, but Mike Duggan promised to improve education, reduce crime, and rebuild population. He said, judge the success of my administration on the increase in population. But that's not happening.
Well, so wait. So you are judging him on what he asked you to judge him on.
Well, yeah.
And what we see is falling population, falling living of standard,
Yep.
falling school scores.
Crime is still an issue.
Crime is the issue. We are judging you on it, and what do we get? Suing the Census Bureau. Dude, it ain't working.
And that's the second time, Charlie. But what it does, again, people throw out those emotional landmines and people say, oh, well, it must be true because the administration is challenging the numbers to the feds. No, it's not necessarily true, and there's not necessarily any substance in that. People have, meritless lawsuits all the time, and they look good and they read well, but they know that there's no substance to it. So
it's PR bullshit. It's like
exactly.
It's like the auto show that I started with, which is a fantastic success. Yeah,
there was nobody down there.
Yeah, well, okay, and what are the numbers? Detroit Automobile Dealers Association, we can't give those to you, they say, because it's too hard to measure, because it was an indoor-outdoor event. No, how about this, motherfucker? How many people did you fucking swipe going in the door? Because you did it for charity night, and that was down a third from 2019, the last time we had a show. I mean, you can measure economic activity. That was down a third. How the fuck do you measure that? But you can't tell me how many people were there.
Well,
level with us.
But if those numbers are counterproductive or are contradictory to what they're telling you, then it wouldn't make sense for them to disclose those numbers.
Fucking propaganda.
Pretty
like
much.
They were doing with the money. Like if you thought, my mom used to say, George Bush, the second, it's the greatest president I ever knew. I go, Mom, he was the worst. 2 wars, huge tax cuts, deficit, economic collapse. Obama was wonderful. No, he wasn't. He spent $1 trillion a year in deficit and turned it over to Wall Street. Trump, the economy was the best ever. No, it wasn't. He spent $1 trillion a year in deficit and then $2 trillion for COVID, and Biden came in and finished off the corpse.
Yeah.
There ain't no friend of ours. These
true.
parties are no friend of ours. They won't tell us the truth. And now here we are. What y'all gonna do? Anybody saved the nickel? I never went to Puerto Vallarta because I saw it. I knew it. Like you said, you called it out. Dan Gilbert, it's bullshit. I watch that skyscraper every day. It's bullshit. We're going to pay for your failure, bro.
Well, Charlie, too.
And then when you call him out, you don't live here. Here's why you called him out. Now, you shouldn't have called him out because nobody can know where anybody lives without the tax forms, right? But you just bought $50 million of oceanfront property in Palm Beach, Florida. There are no income taxes in Palm Beach, Florida. Nobody's seen you around town. And then they jump on you when you say he doesn't live here.
Right. And I understand, like you said, Charlie, you got to be able to justify facts. I get that, and that's fine. But
so you misphrased it.
I misphrased it.
Be a culprit.
And that's okay. But from, a conclusion standpoint, based on all the information that we otherwise have access to, I think it is a safe conclusion that that's where he is. It wouldn't make sense. I mean, here's a person who has gotten millions of dollars from this city and this state for everything. I mean, he has navigated every possible angle for his benefit. And let me say this. People always say, oh, it's always against the successful person because he's rich. No, that's got nothing to do with it. I want people to be as wealthy as they can possibly be, but not at the expense of other people or people that are trying to just make a living every day.
Oh, fuck, it's time to say it, okay? Well, look, we know what Quicken Loan did in the last collapse. I know Deutsche Bank sued you for $1 billion and the statute of limitations ran out. I know what happened to the mortgages you issued here. I know when I was doing the story, you called the news station and got it killed.
Yep.
I know that you just pulled $60 million from the city for that failed skyscraper, and then you just bought $50 million in property in Florida. I know. Remember the failed jail under Ficano? That's the one I caught. That's the one they, when I got in there, they had to bulldoze it. That's going to cost us $450 million by the time the loan runs out. Don't ever forget the interest. So we got a new one going on. Now he's building it over by the incinerator. I promise the county gives me $380 million and I'll take care of all other overruns. Well, now we come to find out this. County's going to pay for the power and the water that they forgot to design because Gilbert won't, because he's got lawyers.
Yep.
He just sold parking concessions for $30 million to the county, as if Gilbert owned the parking decks that he was being paid to build, and now that his shit is tanking, we just bought our own parking decks for our own employees for $30 million. And then Free Press Reports, very good report. The thing is $64 million over budget after that shit. Do you think Gilbert's going to pay it? Or do you think the lawyers are going to come around and we're going to pay it? And again, and again, and again, you know this is the reason why people are listening. We told you that. Okay, it's nice to have reports way after the fact, but we are fucked. And that's what you're writing.
But this is the thing. Why does this not seem right to anybody? Like, why? How does this make sense to anybody?
I think you misphrased that.
Okay.
Because you said...
Then be my interpreter.
Why does this not seem right to anybody? Well, the problem is it did seem right. It did seem, because we trust the media and we trust the politicians. We're still good people. We're not stupid, but we follow. I thought that's why I pay for media and then I elect people to work for me, that you're going to tell me straight. But you're not telling me straight. You don't live where you say you live. You ain't spending the way you said you were going to spend. And again, you know, anybody going to talk to the public these days, you better know something about finance.
But Charlie, again, and I'm not saying anybody's stupid. I get it. But once upon a time, it seemed like people got riled up and they spoke up and they stood up and they said, "Hey, you know,
that's coming,
we're not going to do this anymore."
That's coming, baby.
Okay, because this is crazy to me.
You saw it during the summer of Floyd, and you saw it at the Capitol building.
But I just, you know, and I also think that part of the strategy too for this administration is engaging key people that would otherwise ignite that type of opposition, or that could help to quail it. I mean, everybody's got a check,
Did
a
you
contract.
Say quail it like the bird?
Squash
quail?
it. No, what was I trying to say? Yeah.
Quell?
Yeah, that it.
You've been hanging out with Red too much.
I didn't say turkey it. But Charlie, I'm trying to have a serious conversation.
Yeah, and it's serious.
I'm
sorry, Karen.
Quail it up and finish.
Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Is this how dinner goes at your house? Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please.
All right, Charlie.
What? What?
No, I'm saying, I think that the people that would otherwise, I think that all the key figures are somehow engaged. That's a nice way of saying paid off. They're either employed, they're contractually engaged, they're somehow involved, they have access, something that they want enough to keep them quiet.
It's a fucking
And I wrote about that too a long time ago. And I do really believe that.
And this is interesting. You're the first person in that scene, you know, that power clique, because you are, who's saying it. And I know, because I don't belong to the power clique, but I got their phone numbers, and I know the respect that you're getting for saying it. And, you know, if you're listening, really, really take to heart what she's telling you, because it's upon us. Mm-hmm. And more than ever, we need to keep our heads, and we need to pay attention to finance and politics as much as we do sports, because they are interesting, right? But that's a game of life and death. This isn't a distraction.
But I think people are, a lot of people, maybe not everybody, but I think people are two things. They're apathetic, and they just don't know what to do anymore because it's been so consistent. People continue to be elected to positions. They, don't fulfill their commitments. They don't keep their promises. It's just, I don't think people really know what to do anymore. What do they do?
I'll tell you here. I just have it right in here.
I was going to say, at least in sports, you win sometimes, unlike politics.
I guess.
You can win in financing.
Mark, pull up Hall's number. You know it by heart?
Yeah, isn't it 866-CALL-HALL? I better check that now that I just said
call
it.
Hall. Look, I'm going to dispense with this here, and I'm going to go right from my heart. Okay, these are our underwriters. These are the advertisers. But here, regular person, here's what you're worried about. You're worried about your living quarters, whether you're renting or you own a home or you want a home. You're worried about what finances you might have, right? What's left. And insurance. That's where you can coalesce. That's where you can find some savings for regular people, because you don't have friends on Wall Street. So David Hall Mortgage, I've been thinking about this. the prices of houses are starting to drop. Interest rates are at 6.5%, but the historic average of interest rates are 7.5%. So if the price is going down and you're still getting below historical averages, now's the time if you can. If the rates go down, which they're not going to, and we'll address that next week, because I spent a lot of hours talking to a lot of financial bigwigs, New York, London. They're not going down. Look at the turmoil going on. If they do go down, you can refinance, but they're not going down for a long time. So you want to rent? The price of renting's going up. You'll get no equity. You don't own it. Get me? Feel it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you're waiting for new housing starts, right? New building, that's not going on. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened. That's why there's a crunch, and the interest rates are too high to start building new things. David Home Mortgage. If you own a home and you got a cash crunch, there's a lot of equity that built up because of that run that was going on with, the hedge funds. There's a lot of equity. CallHallFirst.com?
CallHallFirst.com, and it is 866-CALL-HALL.
866-CALL-HALL. Seriously,
Good man.
They're really good. That's who I deal with. You get one-on-one. They're very,
and they're fast.
Very
They come to your
respect-
house, Charlie?
They will.
That's
They might.
that's Legacy Partners Insurance,
Hey.
who came to my house. They came to me. They wanted to advertise. I said, I got to know what you're about. Mark uses them.
Yeah. Not only do they come, they'll come to your house, but I got a call. I never answer if I don't know who it's from. And I'm like, I'll just pick this up. And it's like, hi, Alex. I'm taking over for your account at Legacy. I'm like, okay. Do I need to do anything else? No, I just want to let you know. I'm like, all right,
That
see
was
ya.
nice.
You get a call from the insurance
That's
company.
good.
That's good customer
Now,
service.
now
Yeah.
Alex is the dude dealing with me. And Alex is like, hey, we got to do this, got to do that, a couple of details. I talked to him. I said, now deal with my wife. My wife is the one you're dealing with, right? Okay, a couple questions. I got it. Is my Mustang, my classic car fully insured? Because it's in the garage and it's not registered right now. I don't want full insurance. The one I'm driving is not worth it, right? The one my wife drives, that's the one that's worth it to me. And then so we're walking through all of that. They saved me $1,000 a year, and I got $200,000 more in coverage. And I get personal phone calls. I like this company. He likes this company. They saved me money, right? That's $1,000 saved is inflation. So
huge.
That's
call
the key.
586-209-4106. And as soon as they want me to start talking about Medicare, again, I will, because it's the season. Remember, you leave the hospital. What happens to that bill? Your prescription drugs. What happens? They shop for you, no cost to you. They can lower it and get you something better. And if they can't, you don't get charged.
That's huge, Charlie.
Huge.
Because people don't realize that you almost can't afford to be sick. I mean, you can't.
100%.
I mean, you really can't. The bill for my foot surgery when I broke my foot in January was $25,000.
Oh.
That's crazy to me.
That's out of pocket?
No.
Hell no.
That's not out of, but it might as well be, but that's another story. But my point is that everything is so exorbitantly expensive.
Okay. Now, you know what else I can't afford is giving Legacy Partners more time on the air. I mean, Jesus Christ. What is this, the Super Bowl?
You started
Now,
it.
finally, you have some money, you have some investments. The Dow is up and down like a washwoman's ass on Monday. It is. I don't know what to do. Is it bonds? Is it stock? What do you do? I don't know what the Central Bank of England is doing, and I don't know what Parliament is doing. Tax cuts, quantitative easing, interest rate. They don't know what they're fucking doing. Washington doesn't know what it's doing. The Fed is raising interest rates, and Congress is giving you money back. More spending, less spending. What are you guys fucking doing? You got to call Luke. This is what Luke does. Luke studies. Luke Nowacki at Pinnacle Wealth.
With stripper music.
248. That's not stripper music.
That's what your listeners call
That's
it.
Maurice
stripper
Davis,
music.
former
But they
city
call it
councilman
stripper
Maurice
music.
Davis, king of the party blues and former Trump supporter.
They call it stripper music,
That's
Charlie.
money music.
Well, I'm just telling you what the listeners call
Which I
it.
guess
They
is
call
stri-
it
I guess
stripper
that's stripper music.
I don't know what stripper music is.
Oh, yeah,
Then
right.
why'd you call it that?
I'm telling you, that's what they call it.
Who's they?
Your listeners,
You mean the
Charlie.
people breaking into my car? It's always they. They broke into my car. They stole my tires. They like stripper music.
It was them.
Who's them?
Those people.
Them.
Those people. But if you want the right guy to call, it's Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. Come on in, brother.
And I don't say those people. That's
His
not
super
nice.
fan, Sean
Don't say
Red
that.
Probably why I said
Novak of the Detroit City Football Club, who play at Keyworth Stadium in Hamtramck. What up, dope brother? What's going on, man? You good?
It's already done.
What kind of soccer hooligan?
Gotta move your mic. Move your mic up.
Yeah, you got to
Red.
get right on that.
Move your
right
mic
on
up.
that mic.
Right
Yep,
up
right
there.
on there.
Get it right in there, right? That
Eat that
circle
mic.
right there, yeah. Right in there, yeah. All right, dude. This scene that you got going on in Hamtramck, I mean, go ahead, hippie, give it to him. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I never seen anything like it. Where did this come in? This is a gem that most people don't know about.
Yeah. I mean, it started off as a community organizing effort back in 2010, Detroit City Football League, right? Sean Mann started that off, and the purpose of that was like an adult recreational league that was purposed to connect residents and neighborhoods in the city of Detroit to uplift Detroit, right? And then out of that, in 2012, he pulled. Yeah, just a soccer beer league.
Everybody plays soccer, man.
Yep, no doubt. And a couple years later, a couple people that were involved in the league, he connected with about 4 friends. Alex Wright, Todd and Alex. I'm sorry, I said Alex already.
You don't got to name
Dave,
that,
etc.
Nobody knows who the fuck
It's the beer.
Exactly.
It's the beer.
Yeah, exactly.
You were smoking weed in the green room, weren't you?
No, I'm good. No,
Even in the red room.
They came together and said, what can we do, in addition to this recreational league? And so they pulled together some resources, a couple $1,000s a piece, and started in the amateur league, right? Started a summer amateur league in the Division IV league. And then we're going to call it
soccer, like
not in professional yet. Okay. That was the amateur league, right? They're playing at Cass Tech Detroit City Football Club, right? And so that kind of extended off of the football league. And played at Cass Tech for a couple of years. Attendance outgrew that, and so at some point in time, you know what I mean, they were turning people away. People were standing on little cinder blocks trying to peek over the fence to watch the match. And of course, you get in a group of people to come together for a soccer match, have a couple of beers. You probably don't want to attract them to a local high school and call yourself a community club. You know what I mean? As kids are, so I thought it was good. They were looking around and ended up going to Keyworth Stadium, right? And then once they started to go to Keyworth Stadium, 1936 Federal Works Project, FDR. It was falling apart in a lot of ways, right? It was getting ready to
high school, didn't it?
Yeah. It's owned by the
this beautiful old stadium falling in disrepair in Hamtramck.
Yep. And most importantly, right, the school district was using it, and it was becoming a little bit dangerous. I think they're getting ready to condemn part of it. Mm-hmm. And then the club came along, partnered with the school district, and then tapped into us as the supporters. We raised $750,000.
You mean the fans liked the club so much that they raised the money on their own?
Yeah.
And they didn't get no shit from downtown.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Really?
That's pretty good.
$750,000 and made the necessary improvements for us to play there, but more importantly, keep it open as a public asset. So you go there on any day in the middle of the week, and you'll see kids playing there. So it stays open.
So wait. That's interesting. You mean like so? This is a pretty big club. This club's growing. Mm-hmm. It's the next division down from MLS, Major League Soccer, right, which is a boring league,
right?
And you guys came from the third division. You're now in the second. You made the playoffs.
Came from the fourth, won the third division, then went.
This
to the
year
second
was your
division.
first one in the second. You
No
made
doubt.
the playoffs
As an
and your
expansion.
pitch.
Yep,
See,
no doubt.
see
That's
how
pretty good.
See, I like football. Pitch,
I
it's pitch,
see.
not the field.
I see.
The pitch is open to kids in the neighborhood.
Yep, and
Who
even
allows that?
in the first year that we were at Keyworth, the revenue that the club was making from pulling people in on match day, a lot of that revenue went in to put new turf on the pitch, so that Hamtramck, the public school, the football club, American football, boys
high
soccer,
school?
girls soccer, the high school,
Okay.
right, could actually play there, on pitch that wasn't messing up their knee.
They got any nice players that maybe are going to be in the Detroit City Football Club?
We'll see. One of the city legends, George Shamakov. He don't play for the club anymore, but he was one of the coaches for the girls squad. You know what I mean? But we'll see. They're starting to build a youth.
Well, that's the other thing too. There is a women's team, and there's a massive youth push. Where I live, I see all the signs.
I mean, it's
all
like
the time.
Europe.
It's great.
That's how they do it.
It's a phenomenal story.
No doubt.
And you should also mention those people that put the money in for Keyworth, made their money back, and then some. It was that was a good financial investment with very little help outside of it.
And, not only just the financial piece, but a lot of us actually got out, rolled our sleeves up, and popped up benches.
That's what I was going to say. You look at the return. The return on the investment is more than just financial. And we talking about what can people do. This is evidence what people can do when they find something that works for them and they make a commitment to make it work.
That is true. I mean, this is also very boring. The money and the
well, what do you want to talk about, Charlie?
I want to talk about rock and roll and flags are going and tuba bands and flares and they actually played a major league soccer club. Who was it?
The Crew.
Columbus Crew.
When'd you play him?
Columbus who? What?
When did you play him?
Oh, about a month ago or something.
And who won?
Who you think won?
Fucking DCFC.
We send them packing back to Ohio, no doubt.
That's
right.
And you got their most legendary player got traded right after that game too. Zardes got kicked out of Columbus because of how he played in that game. Yep. I liked it.
Well, everybody looks like they're having a good time. I'll say that.
Here's the thing.
And that's the cherry on top. Really, it's the everything that's the club's doing is one thing, but the cherry on top is actually the party and the actual soccer. And that I think that's how it should be.
Is it safe?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Look, we want people to. If you want a winning club.
Yeah.
And you want something that looks like Detroit and feels like Detroit and behaves like Detroit, in the nicest way that we are, because we are that as well. This is the place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Karen should want to come, I think.
Yeah. Come on, Karen.
In my heart, I do.
It's the team of the people, man. It really is.
Again, I'm honest. I've been watching.
Is Grace
from
going?
Afar.
Maybe I'll go with
asked
Grace.
A million times. You know how life is. I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go. I'll pay, but can you get me in there?
October 15th against Miami FC, last home match of the regular season. We still got we've already made the playoffs. We got a playoff berth.
You guys moved up from 3rd division to 2nd division, and you made the playoffs.
Yep, and they said we weren't going to do nothing. We came in there and thumped.
You guys are like Nottingham Forest, bro.
Yep.
Who not having a good run right now.
Well.
Leeds.
So why don't you get Charlie to play? Charlie's played football. He's done. He's got.
I used to be good at the game.
Why don't you?
My knee, man. I was playing. I blew it out. I was here at the Coney, right? Gotcha. Cleaning the grease off the awning, and I do jump. I'm try to keep in shape, bro. You should try it. And and I'm jumping up and down with the scrub stick, the broom, and
age popped.
The fucking patella, bro. The age popped.
Yeah.
I sucked it up, man.
So is that a no?
I finished the game out, man. I got all the
So is that
grease
a no that you aren't going to?
I would love to. I would, but I just, when I lived in Copenhagen, Denmark, in Christiania, it was a place called. It was like the hippies took over a military base, and over the years, it was like public baths, its own school, and it was international. No police allowed in there.
Yeah.
And I worked in the bakery in there, and we had a rec league. And it was the Danes versus the Internationals. And I got to play fucking goalie.
Hey.
It was fucking great.
Charlie, what haven't you done?
Right.
I mean, seriously.
I haven't gone to one of these games, Karen.
Okay, well, there you go. October 15th.
What haven't I done? I have done many. Okay. And by the way, an announcement. I'm going down to the border a month from today. And I'm going to give you the special report, what's really going on. And I'm coming in from Mexico. I'll give you the deal. If I can get it done, but I've been warned. You know what I've been warned?
What you been warned?
You do not want to fuck around Reynosa, which is across from McAllen, which is in the Rio Grande sector, because they will pick you up, disappear you, put you in a baker's oven, and burn you to death. Yeah. So my contact there is like, you do not want to fuck there, but there is a place where there is no cartel. And that's where you're seeing everybody come, and I'm going.
Yeah, do that one.
Because I'm doing that, and I'm doing this game. And when is that game, dude? When is that game?
October 15th, Keyword Stadium,
Sold
4
out?
p.m. No, it ain't sold out.
4 p.m.?
4 p.m.
Oh, the 15th.
In
I'm out of
Hamtramck,
town.
4 p.m., last game of the season.
Last game of the regular season.
regular
Well,
And then
you ain't going to
and
get
then
no home game.
We still can. It's still a possibility. We've got 3 matches left. If
Give
we
the
win,
odds
if we
on
win
that.
out in the
3 matches, you got to win 3 matches on the road. Probably not. Okay, so this is probably the last time to see the club
We'll see,
this season, right?
We'll see. Well, yeah, at home. At home. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
like I'm
Right.
getting in a
You can go to
fucking
the you can go to the
Winnebago
clubhouse
with
and
these
watch
gas
the-
prices, bro. Putin fucked me. I can't go see this.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank
And
you.
how do you
Thank you.
get tickets?
Appreciate
Go
you.
on, what's the website?
What is it? DETCityFC.com and just click on the tickets link.
For a successful club, you couldn't get a better website than that. DETCS.
Or remember it.
I mean, isn't syphilis.com available?
Oh my
Well,
God.
some people say Det City, but I don't like how that ring comes off the tongue for
Det
some people.
City?
in
Well,
Detroit, you know what I'm
Karen was
saying?
just writing about it. It is that city.
Yeah, pretty
time
much.
to talk.
DET City.
Time to talk truth about it.
Yeah,
Oh, and by the way, last thing, my thought and your thoughts on my thought. And this like sports radio. These I don't like soccer. I say okay. The English Premier League, the ultimate league in the world. Mark, we looked it up before the show. What is the average? It's a 90-minute match, and the average goal scored in a match is
Just shy of 3. I think it was 275.
275. We'll call it. We'll call
About.
it. We'll round everything up or down as math dictates. So about 3 goals a game for 90 minutes. Major League Baseball. How many runs a game?
It was about 5.
About 5. And how long do those games go?
Forever. About 3.5 hours.
We'll call it 3.
They're up, yeah.
So that's 2.5 runs versus 3 goals for an hour and a half. And soccer's always moving, man. It's
Yeah, man.
it's a beautiful game.
If anybody thinks soccer is boring, go to Keyworth.
Yeah.
Right.
And look at it. Watch this one. Let's go Lions! Let's go Blue! No, look at this shit. Yeah!
Right.
Do you guys have like naked cheerleaders and shit?
They're probably, you folks keep on drinking a little bit through the match. You might have a couple.
That's what I'm
of them.
talking about now. Karen gonna show up in a mink and nothing else.
And leaving nothing.
Yeah, them connects might
Wait a minute,
unconnect,
that was my
disconnect after a
mom.
while,
That was
right?
my mom.
The
When
clips.
my second stepfather, his ex-wife was still living in the house, and my mom got drunk, got pissed, went over there in the fur, and nothing else.
Oh, boy.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the cops gave her a ride home.
How did that make?
I always
How did that
respect
make you
her. I
feel?
love you,
Charlie?
mommy. She don't
You
watch
should be
me.
telling her
She
secrets,
can't even get a
Charlie.
message on her phone.
You should tell her secrets.
I can't imagine why she don't
should
answer your
bring
phone
her.
calls now.
I should bring her. Mom, let's go to yeah. Oh, by the way, if I bring my mom, do you serve amaretto?
I'm sure we could find an amaretto.
Right.
Or is it BYOB?
Oh, bring your own Benedictine.
There you go.
Right, because she drinks that as well. All right, brother. It was great having you on, man.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
You can hang for the rest here. I just I want to just hang out there. Bro. Red Part 2. Red living at the Normandy Hotel, the last chance hotel for a lot of guys. Place can be rugged, can be rough. There's some rough characters. There's everybody there.
Have you gone to visit yet, Charlie?
Oh yeah.
You
I was there
visited?
the other night standing in the lobby. I couldn't get past the bulletproof glass.
Oh.
Wouldn't let me in. But what was weird was there was like a coat of arms. There's a fucking suit of armor in the lobby.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
I was gonna touch it to see, but I didn't want to knock it over and then cause you know what I mean. You just don't fuck around.
Don't
But,
touch things.
As always, Red in his new Netflix series. It just Netflix doesn't know it yet.
It's coming. It is coming.
Right? It's a Life at the Normandy Hotel. This episode is called The Laundromat, and it's brought to you by ADR. ADR, experienced, overseeing more than $250 million in private and public construction projects since the turn of the century. ADR is competent, can reduce your costs, increase your bottom line. You got to hire somebody in this day and age to get it done, because we now see what's going on now. We're right. Watch this. We were right. Sorry, it meant total economic collapse, but we were right. Told you, warned you. ADRs save clients millions. They're experts in procurement, government compliance, information technology, and on and on. As you know, you also know that ADR is honest, ethical, smart. You will call the head of everything at ADR. That's Barry Ellentuck, 248-318-9424 for a consultation. Get the job done right, on time, on budget. ADR Consultants, 248-318-9424. They will fix the shit. And
I like that title, Head of Everything. That's going to be my new title. People always say, what is your title? I'm going to say Head of Everything. I like that, Charlie.
is there a goddamn beer in this place? Can somebody get...
I feel like I'm in a bar. There's some, smoke and alcohol.
You do a podcast. You like this podcast?
Yeah.
This is a good-ass podcast.
Oh, yeah, man. I
Isn't it?
appreciate you.
You like
I'm
the
glad it's not
production
on
value?
Friday
What's
night.
that? Yeah.
You like the vibe?
Yeah, I like the vibe. I like the content more than anything.
You do?
Appreciate people who appreciate Detroit.
My man, shit.
Anything anybody's doing for Detroit,
That's pretty
I'm
cool.
down with that.
It's making me old, man. It's actually keeping me young. Thank you, my brother. Okay, now, Mark, can you turn the
contraband.
speakers on in studio while we watch this, along with everybody, wherever you are? We're on 5 continents. We are. Did you know that?
I think 7, right? There's bound to be somebody.
No,
else.
Jesus, hippie.
We had someone in Antarctica.
I need you to get a hold of somebody in Antarctica and get him on the program. I would love. You got it? Are you writing this down? I was gonna. He's a
smart. He
millennial. I
can
gotta tell him to
remember.
write everything down.
He'll
And then
remember.
he writes it really small, and then he never sees it again. You know what I mean?
But he wrote it down.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, here's Red at the Normandy Hotel, called the Laundromat.
Trailers for sale or rent. Put me out the house, don't divorce me. For 50 cents. No phone, all I need is what I got. No pet, started from the bottom now. Ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom by the 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. Adjusting to the life at the Normandy is something to get used to. Laundry was one of my first challenges. Even though there's a laundry room in the Normandy, there are 2 small machines, and I live on the 4th floor, and they're in the fucking basement. So I started coming to the laundromat across the street. What a pain in the ass it is to walk all the way across the street, because 1, I don't like doing no extra shit, no exercise type shit, and that's just forcing me to be healthy now. And 2, it costs a lot of quarters to come to the laundromat. I got carpal tunnel in my shoulder putting all these damn quarters in here. So you best just put it all in one bale and wash it in one big ass machine. Who gives a damn about how whites are? Well, what went down, I was over here, laundromat, doing my laundry, and happened to step out, smoke a cigarette while I'm waiting on my stuff to finish, and see 3 cop cars pull up across the street. 3 cars at the Hotel Norman. 3 police cars. So, of course, my curiosity, like anybody else's when they see police cars, is piqued. I runs over there to find out what's going on, and so I walked up to the first person I saw.
I don't know what happened, but I heard Big Mike say you pulled a gun on me, motherfucker. Dude said, yeah, because you put your fucking hands on me, man. The maintenance there, I guess, you pulled a gun.
Apparently, one of the tenants got into it with the maintenance man, and in exchange, in defense of the maintenance man, ended up pulling out his gun on the tenant.
I pulled a gun out because he was trying to defend himself, man. He was a big motherfucker, man. You all right, Mike?
Big Mike is a tenant apparently that stays in the building and kind of balances out paying his rent with doing duties around the building.
I got 5 floors.
Right.
2 trash bins on each floor. So I said, that's $640. Rent ain't but $532. You ripped me off at least $100 for 2 years. So I said, man, I got mad. I didn't get violent, man.
Apparently, Big Mike had a discrepancy discrepancy with Nick, the maintenance man. They got into a heated argument.
So we start squaring off with each other. He kicked me in the nuts. I said, hold on, man. I didn't show no weakness, but I was hurting, so I pulled my knife.
Okay.
I'm doing just like I'm doing now, backing up. I'm not coming forward, I'm backing up. Oh, you really out here. You pulled a knife on me. I said, you kicked me in the nuts.
And so intervened by pulling his legally licensed carried gun on Big Mike.
I didn't know he had the gun on him, so I grabbed his hand, but I grabbed the gun. So I said, well, you can't eject.
Okay.
I said, somebody gonna hurt you one day, man. I'm not in that mode. I'm not trying to be violent. We was making a deal, and you come in here and backstab me, man. That's some dirty shit, so I'll let it go.
Big Mike felt injustice and went and called the police. Police showed up, 3 cars deep, and in the end, Big Mike ends up going to jail. We saw you end up getting locked up. The police took you to jail.
Yes.
How long did they have you stay in? Did they have you bind out?
2.5 days.
Did they give you a charge?
He said they didn't press charges yet, but the case is still open.
Okay.
So the detective said, I'm getting you out of here, or however it went down, I'm out. I'm out on the street.
It didn't take long for me to find my first story at the Normandy, and I'm sure it's not going to take long for me to find many more at the Normandy. Hopefully I can keep the hell up. By no means, king of the road.
That is fucking news, bro.
That's insightful. That's what
happening.
it is. Yeah, but that's insightful. Remember we talked about Red being able to show us what really goes on. Mm-hmm. And so, this guy's working off his rent, but you've been talking about economics all day. That doesn't balance out. He wants, the difference.
And you see what happens to the regular man? Here's what happens.
Yeah.
I've been done wrong. I called the police and I'm going to jail. Oh, man.
Rough.
What? All right, so real quick, I'd like to get out at precisely 60 minutes. The last one, I want to congratulate New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge for tying Roger Maris's American League home run record at 61, beating out Babe Ruth at 60. He did it last night in Toronto, and that's all very nice. But I would like to, if you're listening, I will describe it. If you're watching, watch this. It's in Toronto. Here comes home run number 61. This bitch got to be worth $1 million. Freeze it! This ball's got to be worth $1 million. Look at these 2 Canadian douchebags in left field. You came to the game with your glove and you
Missed it. Wah, wah.
play it, roll it, bitch. Missed it. Look at him. Oh, my God. Oh, jeez. Canadians can't catch. They can't catch. You go to the 5-hole. They got no glove. Oh, God. They can skate. No doubt. They can fight. No doubt. Nice people.
They're too nice.
But
Charlie.
watch this. Watch this. How nice they are. Watch this. The guy on the right with his glove. He's a grown man with a glove. There's a Yankees fan in between them. Mark, bring it right there. Okay, now watch. The Yankee fan is kind of in his way. Go ahead and play it, Mark. And he doesn't push him out of the way. Hey,
Yeah.
New York fuck.
They're courteous.
That's $1 million ball, man. I'm going to steamroll you. No, he was too nice.
He's Canadian. They're nice. They are.
That ball was worth $1 million. In Canadian currency, that's 1.37 million loonies. And pretty soon, you're getting Prince Charles on your money. Bye-bye, everybody.